Sometimes in life, if you want to win, you have to double down. And if you gamble your money and lose, then you can always try and win it back by gambling your life. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. Today we have yet another movie review. And this time we're going to be reviewing Double Down South. Now, the big thing that stands out to me about Double Down South is, of course, the cast for this show, because the main actor is Kim Coates, who we all know from Sons of Anarchy when he played Tig Traeger. Fantastic series, fantastic character, probably my favourite series of all time. So anytime Kim Coates is in a movie, in a film, in a series, I'm always willing to check it out. In this show, he plays Nick, the owner of this gambling establishment where people can play high stakes games of pool. So basically we have like table games, pool, but in this one they tend to play Keno, which is a very strange form of pool, and it revolves around pool balls, a pool table, a pool cue, but this unique little board with different holes, and you have to try and get the balls into the holes. Nick turns out to be a very good Keno player, but unfortunately for him, he has no fingers these days, so he's more into watching and gambling rather than doing the playing. And the second big character in the show is Deanna, who is the protagonist, played by the beautiful Lily Simmons, and she is essentially on a mission. She wants to help out her boyfriend, her partner, who needs money, and she is willing to try and get money any means possible, and in this case she is going to play Keno. So we see her arrive at the establishment. It's not a great place, it's like some rundown plantation house. You get the feeling this is out somewhere in, I don't know, some like backwards town in America. It's all full of hillbillies, man. Hillbillies. So yeah, they're all playing pool. Deanna walks in, and of course these guys, they have never seen a thing like Deanna. You know, they probably all sleep with their cousins. They probably all have like 2 teeth between them. And then Deanna walks in with these model looks and this really crazy southern accent, and she wants to play some pool. She wants to play some pool. So she starts playing, and of course everyone's looking at her. Everyone wants to try and teach her how to do this, how to do that. Now, she's a pretty good pool player, but she's never played Keno. So she gets taught by a couple of the guys in the establishment. I believe they're just regular players there. They teach how to play Keno. They take some money off her, but she's a pretty good player. So Nick, the owner of the establishment, tells little Nick, a guy that he just employs, that he has to get Deanna back there, and he has a plan to train Deanna up because she might not be the best, but they believe they can make her into a good player. They can hustle money, they can enter tournaments, and because she's a looker, that will attract guys into player. They will maybe let their guard down. She can take their money, she can hustle them, she can get rich, Nick can get rich, and it's a win-win situation. So at the establishment we have Nick, we have little Nick, he used to be a prospect, but unfortunately he lost his eye. We have old Nick, who is Nick's father. We have Sheila, who is Nick's wife, who was a little bit jealous of Deanna. So yeah, Deanna gets put up then, she's allowed a place to stay. It's not a nice place, but it gets paid for, and essentially for Deanna it's risk-free. Nick is the one risking all the money, and all Deanna needs to do is win. So we see Deanna getting better and better. They arrange for her to play a game against some guy called Harvey Block, and he is some weird looking jackass, and I think I don't know if he's got like a fetish for being dominated, but he's beating Deanna in this high stakes game. He's bashing her, he's, I guess, being chauvinistic, or whatever. He's being crude and taunting her. Then she goes up and she dresses into this like leather outfit, and he just literally fucking melts, and he can't really do anything. She's like teasing him, coming on to him, and he just loses the game, and it's a big win for Deanna and Nick. Everyone's celebrating, but Nick's like, get off the fucking goddamn table. We also get little Nick tell a story about Nick and this guy called Debinion, who had a high stakes game once. Nick found out during the game he was being cheated, and after the game he beat up Debinion and pretty much left him for dead. So well, we see more players that Nick has a, let's say, an aggressive side about. Basically, if you lose, if you cost him money, he will make you pay, he will beat you up, he will hurt you. And Diana keeps playing, she keeps getting good, and eventually they set up a rematch. So Debinion comes around and he wants to play Nick. However, Nick has now lost his fingers. Debinion can't play Nick. They argue over who cheated last time. Debinion believes Nick cheated. Nick believes that Debinion cheated. So they agree to get the table looked at, set up this match, and Debinion is going to play Diana. They play, and Debinion whoops Diana's ass. Nick calls off the game after being quite a lot of money down, and Debinion leaves all smug. Nick then tries to force Diana out of the establishment, out of his like little setup here. He's like, you know, you suck, I should never took a chance with you. And he basically blames her for losing him all this money. And then she says, look, she's sorry, she can beat him, she knows she can, and she's willing to hustle. Something that she didn't want to do at the beginning. She's willing to cheat Debinion. She says she will cheat Debinion, she will put up her own money, and they can win. They can make sure this game is fixed. So Debinion comes back in, they set it up, the stakes get higher and higher and higher. Eventually we get to the end where both men are willing to risk every single dollar they can get their hands on. Kim Coates is then telling Little Nick when to cheat, when to fix the board so that he can win, so that Diana can win. However, Little Nick refuses to do it, he doesn't fix it, and then Diana purposely misses her shot before revealing that indeed Debinion is the man that she's trying to win all this money for. At the start, she came in, she said that she wanted to try and help her boyfriend, that he'd been cheated in the past and that he had no money and that she was doing this for him. She also had a scar that everyone was like fascinated with and going, how did you get that? It turns out she got that scar because she had to give a kidney transplant to Debinion after he was beat up so bad by Nick in the first game. So yeah, Nick is the one that cheated. He always told this story it was Debinion, but he's the one that robbed Debinion. Little Nick actually was the one that placed the this little coin thing on the board in order to screw Debinion in the first game, but Little Nick refused to do it in the second game. Diana lost on purpose, Nick lost all his money, and then everyone in the establishment pretty much turned on Nick, and Nick got the hell beat out of him before getting arrested by the cops, and at the end Diana and Debinion leave happily ever after. Old Nick gets control back of the building. It used to be his in the first place. Nick bought it off him, and he's got it back now. Diana gives Little Nick her truck, and Diana and Debinion go on to live happily ever after. And all these people that were tormented by Nick, they don't have to worry about it anymore. They can live their life because Nick is now gone. It also turns out that Nick killed somebody. Someone lost like 12 grand one night, and he killed them. So yeah, Nick, he does come across as an asshole, and it was a little bit, you know, throughout the show it was hard to kind of root for him because he just comes across as this like bad person. But you could see the longer the movie went on, I always thought there was a twist. I always thought that there was a chance that Diana was perhaps in on it and that Debinion, she was going to lose to Debinion on purpose, and it turned out that that is what she done. So yeah, Diana loses to Debinion on purpose. She gets revenge for the beating that Nick gave Debinion all those years ago. Nick ends up in jail, and Little Nick will inherit this establishment after Old Nick passes away. We also find out that the reason Little Nick lost his eye was because of an attack by Nick, because Nick was pissed off that when Little Nick first cheated for him, he got caught and he ended up hitting him in the face and he lost an eyeball because of that. So yeah, in the end we get a happy end and everyone lives happily ever after, apart from Nick, who spends his time in jail, I guess, for murder. So yeah guys, there you go. It was a pretty decent film. I liked it. It was a gambling film, pool. Obviously Kim Coates good actor, hot chick as the main lead as well. What's not to like, guys? And you had that little twist at the end. It was a decent movie. I would recommend it. You know what? I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was pretty decent. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on this. 6 out of 10. By no means a classic, but definitely worth a watch. So, there you go. Double Down South. 6 out of 10 for me, guys. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.